Hey there, welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. If you've never been here before, yay, you finally found me. I'm so glad. And if you're a returning subscriber, yay, thanks for coming back. I really appreciate your support. And as you know, my goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content. So I will point out things that I liked, things I didn't like. I'll offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about, funny lines, interesting lines, and I'll even give you recommendations for other films that are sort of similar that you might also really like. All right, let's dive in. The movie I'm reviewing today is called the Garfield movie. This family-friendly origin story of sorts of America's favorite lasagna-loving cat premieres in theaters on Friday, May 24th, 2024. The movie is rated PG. It's an hour and 41 minutes. And my overall movie review mom grade is a B, maybe a B plus. So I'll explain why here in just a minute. But first, the sponsor of today's movie is actually a really cute backpack. So there's a scene in the movie where Garfield and a few other characters are kind of walking down this road and they're kind of hiding inside backpacks. It's a really cute visual. And so I thought that you might get a kick out of this. This is a backpack I found with Garfield and Pookie. Click down below for that Amazon link. Now, if you want to buy it, it's not going to cost you a penny more to click on my link, but Amazon will give me a few pennies for your doing so. So I appreciate your support. And by the way, I don't know if you can tell in this picture, it's a really soft backpack. It's not like vinyl, in case you're wondering. It's really soft and fuzzy. Anyway, totally adorable. All right, so in a nutshell, this fun flick is based on the popular 1970s comic strip and was directed by Mark Dindal. Screenwriting credits go to Paul A. Kaplan, Mark Torgrove, and David Reynolds. This is the third version of a Garfield movie. Now, there have been lots of cartoons and series and things about Garfield in addition to the comic strip, but this is the third big feature film movie. Now, the film includes a short origin story, and then we're introduced to Garfield's long-lost father, who forces the lasagna-loving Garfield and his best friend, Odie the dog, to join him in a high-stakes heist at the tightly secured Lactose Farms dairy with some other colorful characters. So let me give you some tips for parents. Because it is a family-friendly movie, your kids are probably going to want to watch this. There is a lot of destruction and chaos, which is kind of to be expected in an animation like this. We see characters lie and steal, which always makes me cringe just a bit. There is animated violence. There's no profanity, though, so yay. Characters are in perilous situations almost during the entire movie. And we also see the presence and actions of bullies. Some of the themes that are illustrated really well that you should point out to your kids if you watch this with them are father-son relationships, healing, family, friendship, adaptability, teamwork, forgiveness, and second chances. So here's a long list of things that I really liked. First of all, Chris Pratt voices the entertaining cat Garfield. Now, I've been a huge fan of Chris Pratt, said that weird, for years. I think when I first discovered him was Parks and Recreation, that popular TV series. And then he completely rebooted himself and came back as a superhero in Guardians of the Galaxy, and then has just taken off ever since then. While I do really love him, I'm not sure his voice was the right voice for Garfield, but I'll get to things that I didn't really like here in just a minute. Sorry, I just knocked my microphone. I don't know if you heard that. Samuel L. Jackson's voice is so recognizable and fun as a character named Vic. I'm wondering, is there any other celebrity who uses their middle initial? Like, you can't just say Samuel Jackson. It sounds weird. You have to say Samuel L. Jackson. Emmy Award winner Hannah Waddingham from the popular TV show Ted Lasso voices Jinx, the manipulative, beautiful cat. Did you see her Christmas special, by the way, last year? She is such an entertainer at heart, has a beautiful voice, and is a lot of fun. Other voice talents include Nicholas Hoult, although we only get to really hear him in Act 1 and Act 3. He plays John and is really only in the beginning and the end of the movie. Also, Harvey Guillen or Gillen, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name correctly. Cecily Strong from Saturday Night Live. She does a fantastic job. Bowen Yang, Ving Rhames, and Brett Goldstein. But listen really carefully for the voice of Snoop Dogg, who plays Snoop Cat in a scene where they're all at the pound. Pretty cute. Speaking of Ving Rhames, there are several really cute scenes when his character outlines a play and trains his team for the big heist, giving an entertaining nod to the movie Mission Impossible. Well, the whole franchise, Mission Impossible, in which he stars. The scenes even include the music that sounds exactly like the Mission Impossible theme song. His character is hilarious, and I am so excited, by the way, to see the Mission Impossible movie when it is released later this month. My husband and I are both such fans. Another really cute shout out to Mission Impossible is when Garfield proudly states, quote, "Yeah, in case you're wondering, I do my own stunts. Me and Tom Cruise." So seriously, though, Tom Cruise, oh, I keep banging my microphone. Tom Cruise is a great actor, but he has also become a first-class stuntman. The stunts that he did in the very last Mission Impossible movie were absolutely unbelievable. Am I right? And if you haven't seen that movie, see that movie and know ahead of time, that's him doing all of those stunts. It's crazy amazing. And I haven't heard anything about the stunts for this next one that's coming out. They're trying to keep it a little hush hush. So I'll tell you as soon as I see the movie. Another cute nod to a movie is Marge Malone, voiced by Cecily Strong, who does such a great job. She sounds just like Frances McDormand's entertaining character in the movie Fargo, a reference that will fly way over the heads of young viewers. The Marge Malone character is also hilarious and basically a type of villain, one of the villains, the human villain, I should say. Anyway, so fun. There is a lot of visual and spoken humor. Some of the gags fly by really fast, such as when we see Garfield watching cat flicks on TV, like Netflix. Fun fact, when the comic strip was first released by Jim Davis in 1976, it was actually called John, the human who adopts Garfield. But 2 years later, it was so popular and published nationwide to wide acclaim that the name was changed to Garfield, who clearly was the most entertaining character in the comic strip. Some of the character designs are extremely amusing, like the giant Shar-Pei dog. Have you ever seen a puppy Shar-Pei? Totally adorable. I think they're way cuter when they're puppies than when they're older. That's probably true for a lot of baby animals, but definitely with Shar-Peis. The musical score by John Debney captures the emotions of every scene very well. And finally, keep watching during the final rolling credits for some entertaining cat movie clips. Now, onto the list of things that I didn't like. Thankfully, it's much shorter. Starting off with the tone of the movie, it's really designed for young kids. And if you are a true Garfield fan, you might be annoyed that so much time and energy has been given to a lot of secondary characters instead of focusing on Garfield, Odie, and John. The animation itself is pretty basic, but that's only because we are used to incredibly high levels of artistry in other animated films now, right? The movie was announced during the pandemic, but it experienced a lot of production problems that caused delays in its release. And you can see some of those issues because of the little messy, uninspired, predictable plot. It doesn't flow as well as if it had just been an easy production process, I think. A lot of the humor just doesn't really land, or at least it didn't for me, which is odd because you can tell that the movie is trying really hard to be funny, almost trying a little bit too hard. The best part of the movie, I thought, was the origin story of the kitten Garfield at the very beginning of the film. Act one was really sweet. And I would have liked to have seen more of that rather than the chaotic heist, which is the bulk of the story. However, It definitely picked up for me with this Marge Malone character. She really caught my attention. And then it became more fun. And then Act Three wraps everything up and is very sweet and touches back on some points that we learn in Act One. And I always really like that when the movie circles back to the beginning. Now, whenever I watch movies, I take notes, of course, but I write down funny lines and interesting lines simply so I can share them with you so you get a taste and feel for the dialogue and the themes and all of that kind of stuff. So you can see all of the lines that I wrote down on my written review at moviereviewmom.com, but I'll share some of them with you right now. So Garfield's father is quite the character, and somebody says something and he's like, oh yeah, that feels right. All right, so I looked at my notes, and a lot of the funny lines that I wrote were by Margie Malone, again, voiced by Cecily Strong, and she's doing this Fargo accent from Frances McDormand, who won an Academy Award for that role, by the way. But anyway, so, something's happening, a dog's barking, and she says, if it were a dog barking, I'd be on board for a prank. Them dogs are born for mischief. They just are, not cats. Oh no, cats mean business. Okay, I probably didn't do a very good job with that, but she just made me laugh. Another line that she says is, I guess I better get out my finest china to serve a heaping plate of justice. Why am I so entertained by that accent? And then Chris Pratt voices Garfield, who says, has anyone ever told you that you take a lot of dramatic pauses when you speak? And he's talking to Otto, who's voiced by Ving Rhames. And so we get this long pause, and then Ving Rhames' character says, yes. And his character was just hilarious too. Now, we know that Garfield loves to eat, specifically pizza, lasagna, lots of Italian stuff. And so there are quite a few lines that he says. For example, he's speaking to the audience. He breaks the fourth wall. And this only really happens once, where he says, I apologize in advance. The eating you're about to see will not be pretty. And if you have young children, this would be a good time for them to leave the room. And then he goes to the vet, and the veterinarian yells out, we're going to need a big scale. And then he says, does she have to announce it to the whole audience? Because he's pretty fat. And then at another point, he says, cheddar cheese is my love language. Now, one of the big themes of the movie is pronounced by this Sharpay, who says, speaking of, well, no, I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give too many spoilers. But anyway, so this Sharpay dog wisely says, their love for one another indicates that despite their current circumstance, they are at peace because they are together. And everybody just kind of looks at this dog like, that was really profound. All right, now, normally I give recommendations for movies that you absolutely should watch that are similar. And in this case, I'm just going to announce the other two Garfield movies. One is called Garfield the Movie, and one is called Garfield Movie. Click down below and you can see Amazon links. So if you've never seen those, you might really get a kick out of them, or you might even like them more than this one. They definitely focus more on Garfield and the dog and John much more. But anyway, just to recommend something. All right, so I also recommend that you find me on Instagram and follow me there as Movie Review Mom, but also as Trina Boice, where you'll learn about my books, my online courses, my products, and my other shenanigans. Hopefully my reviews are helpful, and if they are, give them a big thumbs up or comment down below. I'd love to hear what you thought about this movie. Have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.